Hi, my name is Emily Kramer, and I would like to make a presentation of the text The Black Cat, written by Edgar Allan Poe. In this presentation, I would like to start out with a summary of the text, moving on to my analytical points, continuing with the comparison with another text and the period, and at the end I will sum up my main points. So, I will start up with the summary. The Black Cat is about an unnamed male narrator who's also the protagonist. The narrator tells us that from an early age he had loved animals, but that changes throughout the story as the narrator becomes an alcoholic. He has a long-lasting friendship with his cat Pluto, but that turns to hate because of alcoholism, and he ends up hanging the cat. But then he obtains a new cat that looks like Pluto. He gets aggravated by the new cat when he turns to kill the new cat, and his wife get in his way. So he kills her. And at the end of the story, the police arrives and find the cat and his wife inside a vault. Then he gets arrested and killed. Moving on to my analytical points. So the story has a first-person unreliable narrator. And having an unreliable narrator gives the readers reason to doubt on the story the narrator tells, which can be seen in the following text passage on page 223, line 1 to 2. It says, "For the most wild yet most homely narrative which I am about to pen, I neither expect nor solicit belief." Here the narrator says that he does not expect the readers to believe him, and we as readers do not know if he tells the truth. Also, the narrator has a limited knowledge based on the fact that he presents events from previously time, and also that he focuses on his own reactions and emotions. And the whole story is also written as a flashback from the narrator's previous events to let the readers know why he is to be hanged the next day. Moving on to a characterization of the main character. So in the beginning of the story, the main character described himself as being kind-hearted and fond of animals, as he said that he prefers friendships with pets opposed to humans. He and his wife have many pets, including a large, beautiful black cat named Pluto. This cat is especially fond of the narrator, and they slowly build up a good relationship to each other, which lasts for several years. However, the behavior of the narrator changes, as we see on page 223 to 224, line 43 to 44. I grew up day by day, more moody, more irritable, more regardless of the feelings of others. So in this passage, alcohol starts to affect him, as we see that he is changing into the face of an uncontrolled and extremely violent evil, and to the worse day by day. So because of alcohol, the narrator changes into from a kind pet lover and husband to the exact opposite, to a violent husband and a violent animal hater. And he starts mistreating his pets until he develops a huge hatred from his favorite animal, Pluto. Moreover, his actions with taking out one of the eyes of the cat and then hanging it to a tree clearly shows elements of insanity. He went from truly loving animals to torturing and hated the animal. And this can be connected to the narrator possesses the spirit of perverseness, which makes humans do something terrible just for the sake of breaking the rules, which can be seen in the text passage on page 224, line 45 to 46, where it says, "Hungry because I knew that in doing so I was committing a sin, a deadly sin that would so jeopardize my immortal soul as to place it, if such thing was possible." So here the narrator is turned away from what is right and proper, which is due to his alcoholism, and therefore he becomes sinful. And the narrator has an inner struggle between sanity and insanity throughout the whole story. There is no reason to torture Pluto, but he does it anyway. And after the brutal torture and killing, the narrator wants a new black cat that looks like Pluto, who can replace Pluto. Yeah. And in addition to this, the new cat is very fond of the narrator, and that triggers the narrator to loathe the new cat, as the cat look like each other, and he soon gets back into his old alcoholic and ill-behaved behavior. And he becomes superstitious and convinced of the new cat being a bad sign. And in the end of the story, the narrator is so obsessed to kill the new cat that he kills his wife for stopping him without guilty. Also, we could make two readings of the text. One could be that the cat can be considered an incarnation of a witch because of the black cat's fur, as the narrator's wife suggests that black cats are witches in disguise, which can be seen on the following text passage on page 223, line 29 to 31, where it says, "My wife, who at heart was not a little tainted with superstition, made frequent allusion to the ancient popular notion which regarded all black cats as witches in disguise. So this means that the witch vows to avenge Pluto's death, which happens as the narrator goes from the hangman for the murder of his wife. Another suggestion could be that the unreliable first-person narrator is hallucinating due to his alcoholism and problems with alcohol, or that the stories serve a justification and excuse for him murdering his wife. And in consequence of the murder of his wife, we can assume that the narrator is driven by madness and haunted by the cat, or hallucinating because of this alcohol problem. If we are to talk about the main themes, one of the main themes could be evil, alcoholism, justice, and transformation. And in connection to this, transformation can be seen in the change of the narrator. In the beginning, the narrator is an animal lover who has a tenderness of heart, but as years pass by, the narrator transforms into a heartless, cruel, and evil man. And the theme of evil can also be seen with the narrator being the face of evil as he is violent against his wife and his pets. And this text is also a clear example of how alcohol can drive a person to the worst of deeds. Also, if we commit vile atrocities, justice will be served. Moving on to my comparison, so we can compare the text The Cask of Amontillado, written by Edgar Allan Poe, and The Black Cat, written by Edgar Allan Poe, as they are very similar in some ways and belongs to the genre Gothic, and were written in the Romantic period, which lasted from 1798 to 1832. So, first of all, both texts involves an unreliable narrator who commits horrific crimes, including murder, and secondly, they involve live burials which humans are bricked up behind a wall. And in Cask of Amontillado, Montresor immures Fortunato behind a brick wall, and even though he's still alive. And in The Black Cat, the narrator builds literal and physiological walls between himself and his wife and pets, so they can become isolated from him. And also, both stories deal with the influence and obsession with alcohol, because both main characters are obsessed with alcohol, and they also have very much alcohol problems. We can also compare these texts with the period, the Romantic period. So the Romantic period is generally against the image of harmony which the Enlightenment has built. In addition to this, there are a lot of romantic traits to be found in these texts. There are nightmarish terrors that lie beneath the surface of the civilized mind that appears in The Black Cat, because the narrator wants to kill his wife and cat due to the fact that he really is a murderer. Also, both stories are against the image of harmony, as they are very chaotic. There's also a lot of mystery in the text. Also, a turn down on the rationalistic view, because it's very unrealistic that you want to kill someone. So to sum up my main points, the short story clearly shows how alcohol can have a bad influence on people seen from an alcoholic point of view, as we follow a sudden change in the narrator's behavior towards his beloved animals and wife. And in the short story, alcohol only brings darkness and violence into the minds of people, which can be connected to the genre and the Romantic period, and because there's a strong focus and emphasis on feelings and the inner psyche of the characters. And Everyone tries to drink alcohol at some stage in their lives, but we must be able to handle it, or else we can become insane, just like the main character of the short story. And that was all for my presentation.